Hi everyone! In this video, I'm going to cover the basic rules of algebra by highlighting some key definitions followed by some examples. Algebra uses symbols for unknown values, which could be any letter from A to Z. The most popular letter used in algebra is X. Before you can do anything with algebra, it's important that you understand what a term is. A term is a collection of numbers, letters and brackets, all multiplied or divided together. These are separated by the plus or the minus sign attached to the front of it. If there is no sign in front of the first term of the expression, it means it's a positive term. But what is an expression? Well, an expression is made up of terms. Let me show you an example. This is an expression. It has been made up of several terms. These terms are a collection of numbers and letters, and they have been separated by the plus and the minus signs. It's important that you remember the difference between expressions and equations. Expressions don't have the equal sign, like the example that we just looked at. This is made up of several terms and it's separated by the plus and the minus sign, but it doesn't have an equal sign. However, an equation does have an equal sign, and the value on each side of the equal sign is the same. For example, let's do 2 plus 5 equals 7. This is an equation because on one side of the equal sign we have 7, and on the other side of the equal sign we have 2 plus 5, which is 7. So the value is the same on both sides. The same applies for algebra, such as x plus 3 equals 7. Now this is also an equation because we've got an equal sign here. We have 7 on one side of the equation, but this time on the other side of the equation we have an unknown value plus 3. But what we do know is this has to add up to 7, which means x must have a value of 4, because 4 plus 3 is 7. Another important rule in algebra to remember is when you multiply numbers by letters or letters by letters, such as A multiplied by B. In such cases, we take out the multiplication sign and we write it as AB. AB is the shorthand for A multiplied by B. The multiplication sign is also left out to make it clearer. Another example is 3 multiplied by x, which is the same as 3x. In both examples, we've got a letter by a letter and a number by a letter, and the multiplication sign is implied. However, this applies only when we are multiplying letters and numbers by each other or letters by each other. If we multiply two known numbers, such as 2 times 5, we must still use the multiplication sign in this case. If we don't, the number would be mistaken for 25. The next rule that I want to bring to your attention is for negative numbers. When multiplying or dividing a positive number by a positive number, we get a positive number. When multiplying or dividing a positive number by a negative number, we get a negative number. And when it's a negative by a positive, we get a negative. And when it's a negative by a negative, we get a positive. Finally, algebra and powers. Powers are numbers multiplied by themselves so many times. So when we see letters or numbers to powers, it tells us how many times it's multiplied by itself, such as 2 to the power of 2. It's the same as 2 multiplied by 2. Or let's have a look at 2 to the power of 4. This is the same as 2 multiplied by 2, multiplied by 2, multiplied by 2. So these numbers tell us how many times they are multiplied by itself. When it comes to powers used in algebra, sometimes it can catch people out. For example, Rn to the power of 2. Now, this means n is multiplied by itself 2 times, not the r, which is the same as r multiplied by n multiplied by n. But if I put Rn into a bracket and then square it, now this means that both r and n are multiplied by itself 2 times. So it's the same as r multiplied by r multiplied by n multiplied by n. Let me show you one more example. So in this example, only the bracket is cubed, not the p. So this would be the same as p multiplied by the bracket q negative r multiplied by the bracket again and again. Now this covers all the basic rules of algebra, and in my next session I show you how to use algebra. I hope this session was useful and helpful. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe to my channel. Thank you.